before we do any work to this car, we need to clean it up. It's still covered in mud from our incident. We'll call it an incident, I think.
Maiden voyage.
Yeah, maiden voyage incident. How about that? So we're gonna quickly cover up some electronics so we don't have any more problems. Hose it off, and then get down to business. We're being so safe. Hey, Tony.
Yeah. Don't do it.
You watch that.
I don't know what to say about this.
It'll be fine.
Oh man.
Go do some donuts, Tony. You gotta sling that water out.
Yeah, it's gonna swing all up at my feet. That big puddle's gonna come right up to my feet.
We got a lake. We got Lake Jigsaw here underneath the seat.
The other side has a drain at the back in the firewall, right at the
There's
bottom.
so much water on the floor.
Yeah.
There it is.
Coming out now.
Yeah, all right. Did we disconnect something?
No.
We got nothing. Check the battery.
I'm gonna say maybe the batteries just don't shock me. No, it's connected.
Oh, that's awesome. No, we don't have anything to worry about.
Let's try again. Wait, I hear something clicking back here. Do it again. Again. Yeah, it clicks back here. Actually. Yeah, check that jumper. Alright, good. A couple weeks ago, we designed and 3D printed a custom trailing arm for this car. We took that file, we had it sent out, and we got it machined out of 6061 billet aluminum. And lo and behold, our new arms came in. Look how nice that is.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so now we can fit these up and see if they actually work. And because it's aluminum, it's not too heavy. However, in hindsight, I wish we spent a little bit of extra time in our process here to machine some windows into this to save some weight and make it look cooler. That's my fault because we wanted to get a quote with a basic arm first, see how much it costs with the windows afterwards. But yeah, I put it.
We forgot that list.
This is actually the first thing that I've modeled and had CNC machined, and I'm pretty stoked at how it came out. Tony, you got my freaking bracket all rusty. Thanks a lot.
I thought that was you. I thought you did that.
For those concerned, we're not super worried about, you know, the whole rusty bare metal thing because everything that's bare metal on this car is going to get paint prepped for paint, which means it's all going to get wire wheeled anyway. And it's all heavy gauge. It's not going to really lose some structural integrity of being a little flash rusted. Maybe we should blow the car off quick.
Yeah, I don't like this.
There it is, you found the drain.
Yeah, unplugged it. Yeah, the crankshaft seal is definitely leaking and it's throwing, I mean, We know this wasn't oily before because this is all new.
It's covered in oil.
Yep.
Nice.
Who was revving this thing up and slinging all the oil around? There's oil everywhere, actually.
Again, not surprising for how old this engine is.
Right, I mean, yeah.
And we're gonna rebuild it, so not really a big deal.
All the things leaking are probably, very possibly, original to the 1985 car that they came out of.
It's a Ford thing, Tony.
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
It's a V8 thing, I don't understand
It might be a 40-year-old thing.
Yeah. We work on Porsches, they don't leak that much oil.
No, yeah, Porsche engines never leak.
None of this is very concerning because we're gonna rebuild this engine and it'll have a lot more power anyway and be completely resealed.
We just have to figure out how much is temporary and how much we can put off till later.
Yeah, and one thing that's really cool about this whole project, because we're doing the whole clamshell thing, that means that we can still drive this car while building the body. You can just unbolt the clamshell.
Yep.
Exactly, because a lot of it's gonna be built off the car. So the plan here is to continually drive this as we work on it and get the little kinks worked out before we do all the expensive machine work and engine building and whatnot, because that costs a lot of money too. And we want to make sure that when we do it right the first time.
And no one likes a fresh engine sitting around for a period of time waiting to get bolted back in the car and run again. Hey Ryan, it's time.
No more temporary.
Say goodbye to temporary. We are moving on. We have crested that hill. It's time for permanent.
Tony, I like your hoodie. It's funny that you're wearing the hoodie because right now I'm there and you're not.
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome. That's one fine-tuned suspension.
I'm going back to Idaho. I'm not here, and I'm in Idaho. Can you tell I haven't used this thing in a while? Woo! Full disclaimer before using this lathe, I am not a machinist, so be easy on me. Fun fact, this was one of the first tools that Eastwood ever sent me when I, started doing internet things. And I did a video on this like years ago. It's probably on the YouTube channel for Eastwood still. Don't go watch it. I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. What did I say? Oh, I'm an idiot. So I machined those two washers from the original control arm because the spherical end is not the right size for the socket up there that it's supposed to go into. So I just cut them off the original arm because that saves us material.
This shoulder here is real nice for that. It's chamfered here so that there's clearance for it to turn.
So let's bolt it up and confirm that before I make the other two. Always make the one side first to confirm it works before
making two mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it was very obvious to all of our very astute viewers. These sway bar links are hanging here loose with nothing attached to them. And we've known about that, but we also knew we didn't need the sway bar to drive it, and we wanted to drive it. Now that we're moving past temporary, it's time to give us a sway bar. The factory had the body mount part of the sway bar as part of this subframe that we remade. So we're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna make our mount right here. It might also be very obvious to you, our exhaust is in the way of that. And probably our plate. The exhaust we knew was completely temporary. Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
The exhaust we knew was temporary, so we're just gonna pop that off. We're gonna pop the plate off and make necessary adjustments to that. Maybe making a whole new plate, but it's time to move towards permanent. Here we go.
What do you think about that, Bozo?
Nobody cares.
Look, see, we don't have to worry about rust because it's all oily here.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it actually didn't rust here compared to that side, which did rust.
Can you shine the light a little bit higher? A little bit higher. It's in my eyes! I put it on backwards. Trying to think why that, we moved everything up the same.
The shifter's in the way.
Yeah, we moved everything up the same. But we need to keep that below there. So right there.
Yeah, so the sway bar is super low right now if we have it where it needs to be to clear everything. What do you think about if we ran the sway bar up above everything and flip the end links over? Do you want to at least look at it?
We can, yeah, we can look at that possibility. We're not gonna have a trunk there, so yeah, it's not gonna be like the box turn. We were trying to figure out why this was even a problem, but we did not move the transmission up as far as the rest of the suspension components because we wanted to keep lower center of gravity and give clearance to the floor that we don't care about. But
yeah, exactly.
But the lower center of gravity is something we definitely want to maintain.
Let's look at it.
Yeah,
let's look at it.
Let's investigate.
Obviously, these drop links aren't going to work. We'll have the adjustable ones a different length, but that could potentially work and have less modification needed elsewhere to make it work.
We're putting this much weight higher in the chassis. That might work. We gotta get drop links.
You'll notice that this sway bar is really ugly anyway. This is the factory sway bar. It's really rusty. We're not actually going to be using it in the final product.
But that said, do we want to mock up off of this one at all, or get the drop links that we think we need to use and the sway bars that will be adjustable, and the arms will be the length and everything that we...
I think that's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's our plan, I think. We're gonna do a sway bar across the top. We gotta get some parts first.
Yep. All right. Trying to remember where it all came from. So we got our T6 6061 aluminum tubing, which we know from the previous video we have to anneal. You can see more about that process in that video, but we're going to move forward with this. I don't want to say the word process again. Would you like a warm Sharpie?
No. I hate when you hand me Sharpies and they're warm. Like, what were you doing with it?
Warming it up.
Tony, you're burning my aluminum.
Yeah, a little too much heat right there on the end.
That's okay, it's practice. Gotta teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Well,
this is an old trick.
It's a very old trick.
I mention I don't like working on the floor?
You did actually.
Okay.
And then I made you work on the floor. Oops, melted my shoe. I don't think my shoe's waterproof anymore.
No, I think that did that in.
And now we have a nasty mark in the middle of like 3 tubes.
And a nasty smell. I might not have compromised the waterproof of it, but I did put a little discolor on there.
Womp womp. All right, so here's the plan. We've cleaned off and expanded our wooden table in the shop to be 4x8 because our templates are roughly 4x4, and a little bit smaller than that. The plan is to take our template, lay it on some cardboard, trace it, flip it, trace it again, then put that cardboard on the table, so then we can bend the tubing and use the template that is now on the table as a guide.
Yeah, it feels like 2nd grade arts and crafts, actually.
Yeah, for real. It should be pretty straightforward and not too bad. Hopefully, our tool that we made to bend the tubing holds up throughout this whole process, and hopefully we also can efficiently bend this, not be overbending going back and forth. And hopefully we didn't mess up in the tubing in the annealing process, because 2 of them are sagging in the middle and 2 aren't, which is kind of weird.
The middle ones probably got more heat just because of the way we were trying to heat 4 at a time, and
yeah,
they were going to get the torch contact more often than the outside.
Yeah, so I think it'll be fine. We'll find out though. All right, so up next is to figure out how to mount our bending tool that we 3D printed and mounted to this board. And we have a bit of a problem, I guess. We were going to originally use the wooden table back there, but we're gonna be using that for our templating, and it's gonna kind of get in the way. We have this stand with a board clamped to it. I was going to use an anvil and kind of hold it down in the middle of the floor here. That's not gonna work either. But we have a better idea, I think. Where's that blasted Roadrunner at?
Lift with your...
Back in a sharp twisting jerking motion?
Yeah, please.
It can't move if it's attached to the beam holding up the building, right?
We'll just turn the building around the tubing. If we can't bend the tubing like that, then we probably didn't anneal it properly.
You like this here?
Yeah.
All right, we had a vise on here, so we'll just clamp a board to it.
And, right, yep.
Now we're ready to bend some tubing.
That's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna start on the end and just work my way across. I like your suction cup you got going on your template.
Thanks, yeah.
I feel like I have a shield.
You
I am number 69 of the 500.
No.
Number 69 didn't last very long. All right, here we go. First bend. Check out Tony's annealing skills. So it's like a sharper bend. This is gonna be the hardest part. I realize it's gonna be really tough to keep this level. And I just realized another problem.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Because I recessed it into the board.
Tubing Bender 2000.
Does that come after the 9000?
No, it came before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm making sure to put the bender we're not using in the foreground.
Thank you. Tony and I were just talking about, like, should we like re-temper this when we're done? Because if I can bend it over my knee right now and get the shapes I need, is it too soft for the car? And I don't think so. And part of that is because as I'm bending this, it's re-tempering itself because we're hardening. So I don't know if temper is the right word there. I'm
Probably
not.
But yeah, there's no heat
please
involved.
Please don't murder me in the comments. However, it is going to work harden as I bend it. This is all going to be like a lattice framework that's going to be to each other, and then the skin's going to be adhered to it, whether we glue it or weld it or whatever. So it's like a unibody. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think it's definitely going to be like weak on its own, but even right now, like I'm shaking it around and it's not. It's keeping its memory.
My biggest concern is as we start to work the sheet to it, that we could move it out of shape and then,
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's kind of the fun of it, right?
Yep.
getting there. So for a good example right here, there's a gap and it's tight leading up to that. So what I need to do is I need to add more of a bend there, but I also need to unbend on either side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark, I know it's good up to here, I know it's good up to here, I know this is too low. So I'm gonna unbend, and then bend that a little bit more. There we go. Bam, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. I'm wondering to myself right now, I'm wondering if what we should be doing is doing halves and then welding them together instead of doing one big hoop. I make half the piece and I don't have to worry about the other end flopping around. I think it's gonna save a lot of time.
Right.
Save the time, save the world.
Time rescue team.
Be gone. Yeah, see now I can actually manage this. What do you think?
So far so good. Got it tighter at the start where I needed it. So. Spot feels a little harder, and when you look, you can see there's a little bit of Sharpie left.
Yeah, you
right
missed
there.
a spot there, Tony.
Yeah, well, I couldn't see it all. So we have this rod bender. Now the spacing isn't enough to accommodate that half-inch tubing. But I wanted to use something like this. I tried just bending the tubing in between here, but what I ended up with was a bunch of little divots where it made contact here, because of course it's only making contact with one tiny little point on there. So I thought if we had something like this that had the profile of the tube, we could use that to do the same thing. So you just feed it in a little bit, bend it, feed it a little, bend it, and make your own radius, and you've got infinite possibilities there. And Ryan had the idea that these bead roller dies have that profile on. Now, of course, we don't have two that are exactly half-inch, but I think this will work. So we're going to try and use this so that we can get pressure exactly where we want it.
Yeah, I found so far that using my knee is the most controllable because you can feel the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. It's just the feel, but
We might just use the knee as a main and the other tools as supporting for like the sharper bends. This is our test piece to figure it out. What we could try to do is 3D print dies for the bead roller that wouldn't make the impressions. Certainly an idea. New processes mean new tools and lots of theories that we test and prove wrong.
that's what happens with most of them, most theories.
I feel like at the end of the day though, it's just gonna take a lot of time to bend this tubing, regardless of what tools we make.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the process.
We'll figure it out.
great. We got our first 2 ribs made, and by 2 I mean 1 for each side.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll just cut this, weld this together, and that'll be our first hoop. We're going to figure out whether or not we're going to change or add to our tooling to make this go a little bit quicker and smoother. And then we'll start putting the actual skeleton together so we can put the skin together after we shape that.
This process is definitely a bit more arduous / difficult than I anticipated, especially with trying to figure out tooling. So we did not get nearly as far as we had hoped to get today. As I hoped. I think Tony kind of expected it. He's smiling in the background because I know.
His projections are a little shorter than mine.
We all know that I'm not the great at estimating. However, now that we have a good direction, I think next week's video, we're gonna get a good bit of tubing done because it just makes sense now. This video has been paid for and sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. They make it so easy to design a beautiful website, connect with your audience, and sell just about anything you want all in one place in your own terms. So head to squarespace.com/Crucible Coachworks to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Or as always, you can hit the link in the description down below. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and I'll catch you guys next week.